This is You've Already Been Hacked, recorded on 10 April 2021. Well, over the course of the past week, there are so many new goodies to talk about, I'm not even going to do any follow-up work. There's just that much, and I don't want to take all of that time talking about the gifts that keep on giving. I'm sure there'll be more to talk about as the year goes on with them, so let's get into it. Care First, Blue Cross Blue Shield's Community Health Plan, District of Columbia, or the CHPDC, suffered a data breach carried out by what some have described as a foreign cybercriminal group in this past January. The potential impact includes sensitive data that the company told customers about this past week. The breach, however, apparently took place on the 28th of January. The company has stated that it both notified the FBI and the Office of the Attorney General for the District of Columbia and was working with CrowdStrike in responding to the security incident. A point of interest from the analysis is that it looks like it came from what they're calling a sophisticated foreign cyber criminal enterprise. So, could that be another nation state? Possibly, given who the target is, but the fact that they're characterizing it as such, it may be hackers for hire that may also moonlight. So, interesting to see how that fallout will churn something up. The company has stated also that it's too early to tell how many customers had been affected or what data was taken. So it's now April, but they're realizing this took place in January. Still too early. The written notification that went out to customers stated that stolen information may include names, addresses, phone numbers, dates of birth, Medicaid identification numbers, and other personal health information. Although it was stressed that Social Security numbers were not compromised and that the company immediately called the experts at CrowdStrike to further protect personal information. In one of the first that I've seen, in the statement that was issued, CEO George Olof stated, quote, "We are angry and troubled that anyone would target our enrollees. We are taking aggressive action on behalf of those we serve to ensure they are supported and notified as more information becomes available." The fact that the company stated a level of emotion involved, other than sadness or disappointment, just a little bit of a different tone. So I found that kind of just like I said, an interesting little point there. And as is all too common, the company is offering 2 years free credit and identity theft monitoring to all enrolled customers potentially impacted. The website for Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield for the District of Columbia has more information on it. Do you use Discord or Slack to do a lot of collaboration or communication with partners, colleagues, and friends? Well, attackers are blowing up Discord and Slack with malware. One Discord network search turned up 20,000 viruses this past week, according to researchers. Threat actors are abusing legitimate functions to evade security and deliver info stealers, remote access trojans, and other types of malware. Researchers at Talos went on to explain that Slack, Discord, and other collaboration app platforms use content delivery networks, or CDNs, to store the files shared back and forth within channels. As an example, the researchers used Discord CDN, which is accessible by a hard-coded URL from anywhere by anyone on the internet, to prove the functionality. The trick here is to simply get the users to click on the malicious link that's posted. So if it looks legitimate and smells like a duck and quacks like a duck, someone's probably going to think it's a duck or a cat and click on it. And the majority of stuff that's posted to these CDNs is initially done over HTTPS, so it's encrypted, and then it's usually compressed to save space on these delivery networks, and multiple different compression algorithms have been used by the malicious actors, and all of these are legitimate compression algorithms. We use them all the time. I use some of these, right? So some of the stuff that was seen were .ace files, GZ files, tar files, zip files, and some less common ones like LZH files. But you will see and run into these all the time on the internet. So as an end user, there's nothing here that's gonna send a red flag up that you're gonna go, that's a problem. Now, whoever the actors are, they're either widely teamed up or very sophisticated. The messages that are being delivered in these servers have been seen in several languages to include English, Spanish, French, German, and Portuguese. Generally, the malware found in what's being posted are C2 types of malwares, right? So stuff that's going to install on the end device, set up a communications channel back to a control node somewhere, and then get further instructions on what data to exfil back to the attacker. Even worse, in some cases, we're seeing pay to decrypt ransomware show up in some of the activity, which means once you've downloaded the file and executed it, whether it looks like a Word document or something else, it's going to encrypt your data. You're not going to be able to get to anything unless you pay the ransom. And the ransom demand will show up in generally a text file, pay to decrypt 1.txt. And what it will say is, don't try to reboot. Your files are encrypted and the master boot record is overwritten. Pay 0.0002 BTC in, and it will give you they give the address, and send us an email at in this particular one, nk125 at sony.net with this key, and it gives you another key. You have today, the date of your infection, to pay. If you try to reboot, all your files will be lost. That's pleasant. And at the time of this story breaking, Discord has not implemented client verification to prevent impersonation by way of stolen access tokens. This has led to a large amount of Discord token stealers being implemented and distributed on GitHub as well as other forums. In many cases, the token stealers pose as useful utilities related to online gaming, as Discord is one of the most prevalent chat and collaboration platforms in use in the gaming community. And it just stands to reason that because Discord has had a very significant rise, as well as other collaboration platforms, be careful. Be careful with the links you find there. Be careful with the links that are posted there. If you're not sure of who sent that link, or even if you are sure, you may want to confirm through a secondary communications channel that the link or the file posted is really the file that is being sent. The Advanced Persistent Threat Group with ties to North Korea, Lazarus, is reportedly using a backdoor piece of malware known as Vyeva. I probably have that mispronounced, but it's spelled Vyveva, in an attack against networks at a South African freight company. Now, this particular backdoor is nothing new, and it looks like the group has been using it since at least 2018. The fact that it still works is rather amazing. It's capable of file exfiltration, time stomping, gathering information about the victim's computer, and strives in other common backdoor functionality, such as running arbitrary code specified by the malware operators. The malware comes with an extensive set of cyber espionage capabilities that allow Lazarus to harvest and exfiltrate files from infected systems to servers under their control using the Tor network as their secure communications channel. Now, I mentioned time stomping as one of the features. For those that don't know, time stomping is the ability to manipulate any file's date using metadata from other files on the system, or by setting a random date between 2000 and 2004 to hide new or modified files. And if you need a little bit of a refresher on Lazarus, very high profile, potentially again backed by the North Korean government. They are known for some really big, flashy, newsworthy hacks, to include something known as Operation Blockbuster. For those that don't remember, that happened in 2014. against Sony Films. And some banks worldwide also were attacked in 2017 as part of the global WannaCry ransomware campaign. This group is also the one we talked about earlier this year that was targeting security researchers via fake social media accounts. You looking for a new job? You post to LinkedIn? Be careful. Phishing is ramping up with more targeted attacks, specifically on the LinkedIn service. The current wave of attacks involves a tool known as more_eggs, which is a fileless backdoor program that consists of a script that runs in memory and calls various system functions to compromise the target computer. The latest variant of this malware uses a malicious zip archive labeled with the target's title from LinkedIn and then uses an LNK file to execute it. The group that seems to be running this particular campaign has been dubbed Golden Chickens. I can't make this stuff up, folks. What security researchers have found is that the personalization and the effort that this group has gone to make convincing malware that will be opened by people is significant. There's a lot of tradecraft. It's not new, but the extent to which the actors are willing to focus their energy and effort against specific targets is really interesting, suggesting that they know what they want to go after or who they want to go after and why. So be careful if you're somebody that has some significant access to something, key personnel, stuff like that. Or even if you did, and maybe you're a little more, angry at your employer right now. I mean, that's another vector for another day. Most of the focus right now for those that should be on highest alert has been professionals in the healthcare technology industry. This makes sense, seeing everything else we've seen through mid-2020 with the pandemic all the way up until now on how the healthcare industry is just being taken wholesale by hackers and malware operators. So, I mean, what can you do? I'm looking for a job, professor. I mean, what am I supposed to do? Well, tried and true methods are the best thing that I can offer you right now, right? If you have had your cybersecurity training from your business, remember your training. That's important. Like I said before, verify who you're speaking to and don't trust attachments unless you can know with a level of confidence that that attachment is what you think it is. Broward County schools have been hit with a rather significant ransomware request. Coral Glades High School, which is in the Broward County Public Schools District, has a $40 million ransomware bounty on it. And the district was one of the wave of cases targeting educational institutions over the past couple of weeks. The Conti ransomware gang encrypted the systems at Broward County Public Schools several weeks ago and threatened to release sensitive student, teacher, and employee personnel data unless they paid the $40 million. Why am I bringing up Broward County? Well, it is the 6th largest school district in the United States with an annual operating budget of about $4 billion. What is in this trove of data that was taken? Well, it included, as normal, the same stuff we see time and again: social security numbers of the students, teachers, and employees, addresses, dates of birth, and school district financial contact information. Basically everything you would want as a hacker to create false identities or sell those identities on the cheap on the internet so that someone else can use them. In a statement from the school district, they said they're working with cybersecurity experts to investigate and remediate the attack, and they do not intend to pay the ransom. At this time, they are not aware of any student or employee personal data that has been compromised as a result of the incident. So they haven't seen proof, or at least they're not admitting to have seen proof, and the hackers haven't published anything publicly on the internet yet. But the hackers did publish a text message, or at least one that looks like it, from mid-March between them and a proposed district official, in negotiations for the files. The text of the message read, quote, "The good news is that we are businessmen. We want to receive ransom for everything that needs to be kept secret and don't want to ruin your reputation. The amount at which we are ready to meet you and keep everything as collateral is $40 million. The response from the district was, "I'm speechless. Surely this is a mistake. Are there extra zeros in that number?" Apparently, the back and forth went a little bit further. No mistake, and they eventually brought their request down to a mere $10 million. So what do we expect? Well, I expect schools, just like healthcare, to continue to be pummeled by ransomware gangs that will get far more sophisticated as time goes on. So what should they do? What could they do? Well, it's really time for them to look at their architecture, potentially move to a zero trust model is what my recommendation would be. And they need to look at whatever the next gen type of AI infused firewalls may be. Definitely make sure that training for cybersecurity is up to date, not 5 years old. And maybe look into further segregation of networks, whether virtually or hard segregation, and have your backup be up to date. The old model is 3, 2, 1, right? 3 copies of your data, 2 on premises, and 1 live. Okay, let's move on. I'm sure you've heard about this one, but if I don't bring it up, people are going to ask. So, 530 million Facebook users around the world have had their data breached and leaked on the dark web. What was included in this leak, Professor? Well, it included your name, your phone number, your birthday, your email address, and any other identifiable information that you may have put into your Facebook account. As of now, it looks to have affected users in 100 countries on the planet. The stolen data first surfaced on hacking community websites in June of 2020, when they began selling the Facebook data to other hackers. What made this leak stand out was that it contained member information that can be scraped from public profiles and private mobile numbers associated with the accounts. Some other juicy information that was part of the data there, other than what I've already described, is your mobile phone number, your Facebook ID, your name, your gender, your location, relationship status, your occupation, your date of birth, and your associated email address. The information was originally posted for sale, but as of now is free for all those that can get there. And on the particular hacker community forum, it is available for what's known as 8 credits on the site. It's a form of currency that they use there, which is equal to $2.19 for 500 million user accounts. That is one hell of a bargain, folks. Now, Facebook has, in its defense, thrown up its hands and said, hey, this data is from 2019. What's the problem? It's old data. Well, much of that information is likely not to change over time, like your phone number, your name, potentially your relationship status. Some of this stuff is likely to be much more longer in the tooth than just a couple of years. And my point is made based on what's seen in that particular forum, because there's a lot of enthusiasm around it from threat actors there, as they see that they can use it to conduct attacks on the people listed in the leak. Some examples of the type of attacks is they can use email addresses for phishing, mobile numbers for smishing, which is mobile text phishing for those that don't know. Threat actors can also use mobile numbers and leaked information to perform SIM swap attacks, steal multi-factor authentication codes sent via SMS, all the goodies, all the extras we try to help you all get protected with. It's advised that all Facebook users be wary of strange emails or texts requesting further information or telling you to click on links. Surprise, Surprise. A full list of geographic locations as shared by the threat actor and the amount of exposed users per location can be seen on bleepingcomputer.com's website. You can also look for your data in the leak at haveibeenpwned.com. This site holds a trove of metadata related to a lot of different leaks that have happened over the years, and you can check your email addresses or your phone numbers to see if they've shown up anywhere. Good luck. That's all for the news this week. I'm your professor of cyber risk. We'll talk again soon. If you like this podcast, share it with your colleagues and friends. Your support is how we are able to continue to make this content. Thank you.